Bookmark irlonestar.com as your internet radio station. Lone Star Community Radio broadcasting 24/7 from the heart of downtown Conroe, Texas.
You are listening to Lone Star Community Radio on 104.5 KCZW LP Conroe and 106.1 KZCC LP Conroe, and worldwide on irlonestar.com.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the Extension Hour, Texas A&M Agrilife Extension. We do the Extension Hour every Friday, 1 to 2 p.m. We talk all about people, programs, and partnerships. And we've got quite a plethora of people, programs, and partnerships today. Yeah, I know, a lot of P's, and it's probably like popping the microphone and everything. Our people, so people who are part of Extension, as well as volunteers, and then our programs, so awesome things that we do, and then partnerships whenever we work with other groups and agencies and that kind of thing. And that's kind of what we're all about in Extension, helping Texans make their lives better. That's our tagline, and there's lots of ways that we do that. So every Friday when we have the Extension Hour, we talk about some of the things that are going on in Extension. I'm really excited to have you guys here today. I love Friday. This is my favorite part of the week is Friday doing the radio show, because it's just so cool to have great people to come be on the show with us and talk about all the wonderful things we do in Extension. And people often misunderstand Extension or have no idea what we do, and often we get, oh, you guys do that and you do that. So I got to talk about some of those that's that we do. We have the Master Gardener Association, and one of the things that they do that a lot of people know that they do that, and that is the plant sale. So that's going to happen tomorrow, the spring plant sale. That's going to be all the Jody's like, woohoo! Yeah. All about the vegetables and ornamentals. So everything except for fruit and nut trees, because they do that. They sold those back in January. But all the other spring plants. So there's also a fall plant sale, but the spring plant sale is tomorrow. So that's on Saturday, March 23rd. Starts at 8 a.m. They do a presentation. It's kind of a general overview of what we have available, some planting tips, that kind of thing. And then 9 until noon is the plants are available. The Master Gardeners are out there. So if you have questions about where's the best way for this to grow, or what should I do? They are a wealth of information. So they're there on hand to answer questions. And then in addition to that, they do their Saturday series of classes. So once a month on a Saturday, they will have classes that they offer to the public. So it's open to anyone who's interested. And so the next one is scheduled for April 13th. And that is, so they do 2 sessions. So one is 8 to 10, another one is 10:30 to 12:30. And both of those sessions are related. So the first one is the which, what, and how of spring blooms. And then the second session is multiplying your blooms. So it'll be all about flowers. They charge like $5 for one class, $8 for 2. That covers the materials, refreshments, hands-on activities, all those kinds of things. So Master Gardeners are doing great things. If you have any questions, though, about, so I can tell you where the plant sale is at. Yeah. It's at our office at 9020 Airport Road, right across the street from the Lone Star Convention Center. And then the number at the office, if you want to call and ask questions, 936-539-7825. And so I always hesitate when I say that. There's several numbers, but 7825, that'll get you to our answering system, and you can talk to a Master Gardener from there. Okay, so like I said, I was excited to have you guys here today. I have these wonderful people all here too, because one of my favorite projects too is the Walk Across Texas project that we do every year. And and I call it a project, a program. It is like a full experience. So it's much more than just an event. Some people get the idea, oh yeah, it's just like a 5K or a fun run or whatever. But way more than that, because it really is it's an experience, like I said. So that's all. That's what we're going to talk about. Yeah. So let's get to it and have you guys introduce yourselves. Let's start with you, Mike.
Sure. Thank you for having me. Super excited to be here. And I'm Mike Lopez. I'm an extension program specialist with our Family and Community Health Unit. What I'm interested in is the environmental influences on behavior choice, particularly around physical activity. But one of my main programmatic efforts is providing statewide support for the Walk Across Texas program. So I'm very excited to be here today. talk about what's ongoing and some exciting changes that we've been busy. We've been busy at the state offices, so we're excited to release and talk about some of the changes.
Yeah, we're so happy to have you here. So this is really the man who knows. So we have a couple of Walk Across Texas volunteers and participants that are with us too, and so we may do like an informal Q&A a little bit to like I test you on those changes. So Jody,
As
tell
long
us.
as it's not graded, that's all that I worry about.
Yeah, I've got a check mark here, and you do know that this is being recorded as well. So
that I know.
we can go back and check the tape and say, okay, now what did Mike say that day? Because he said, and then we're going to hold you to it.
Sounds good.
He's like, oh, I may not want to talk anymore.
There, but sounds good. Sounds good.
Great way to tell you now that you're in the studio.
Yeah,
exactly right. Yeah.
All right, Jody.
So I'm Jody Schreier, and this is just a super, super thrill for me to be back here with you and Walk Across Texas. You and I had worked on this for 4 years in a row with United Way, and it was always so much fun to get out there and meet individuals and get the community excited about being proactive and making healthier choices. So we've got some fun prizes, and certainly thank you for inviting me to be a part of this with you again.
I am so glad you're here because I love your enthusiasm. So United Way is a big supporter of Walk Across Texas, and so they continue to give us some funding support, which is so helpful, and we're very, very grateful for that. But a few years prior, we had like Jody helping.
And Candace. Yes. We had Candace on board.
And so, and I appreciate the funding support that they give us, but it's just nothing like having you and Candace. So
we
miss
had
you so
a lot
much.
of fun.
Jody's back with us volunteering. Yeah. She's helping to recruit prizes because, her enthusiasm is contagious.
It's because I eat chocolate all the time. Truth be told.
All right. Another awesome volunteer whose enthusiasm is also contagious is Ruby Chandler.
Hi, I'm so glad to be here. I've been participating for like 10 years, I think. Wow. But last year was the first time I really got with Amy and started helping get prizes and getting more people to participate. So it's been a great experience.
Yeah. And Ruby is a librarian at
the Central Branch Library.
Yeah. And we were talking about that just before we came in the room. Who knew that librarians were so competitive?
We are very competitive, daily, weekly. We have challenges against each other. And I've been up walking at midnight if I see somebody's passing me up. So we take it very seriously.
That's awesome.
I love it.
And that is one of the best things about Walk Across Texas is that it is a community challenge. So, we all know that we need to be more physically active, but sometimes just having that little push, that little reason to focus on it really makes a big difference. And so, Mike, tell us a little bit about kind of how Walk Across Texas came into existence and sort of the purpose of why we do Walk Across Texas.
Sure. And we could start first with the extensions goal of the program, and that's to establish the habit of regular physical activity for people of all ages and abilities. And so that's really our strong suit area and how we do that. And what we're really going to emphasize moving forward is that team and social support component of the program. Is like you saw, your team members were getting miles, or maybe even other teams. One of the 3 teams I think you were telling me beforehand that had miles before, or that were contributing and really building on that kind of social component and team. Little bit competitive nature, but also kind of supporting each other with those habit of activity and really making it a habit. And so a little bit of historical perspective of the program. It is pretty long-standing. You had mentioned 10 years participation. It was started in 1996. So yeah, 22, coming up 22 years.
Back before days of the internet.
Yeah. Back before days of the internet.
It's that old. It's older than the internet.
I often, because we're a web-based program, and so it is virtual, but I joke quite often in the days before we had our website that used to record all your miles on paper, and you would send that into College Station, and some poor grad student or someone else would record all the mileage and then send all that information out via phone or other means. And so we've certainly beefed up our technology, and now it's all live. You can see which one of your team members are adding their miles in at that time. And so we've had quite a few changes over the 22 now, leading into 23 years with the program. Mainly all driven locally, which is the greatest part too. It's adapted. It's very flexible given local capacity. And sometimes it's a community-wide challenge like Montgomery County, and sometimes it's site-specific. And that's what we really want to do and emphasize with the program too, is that it is flexible within a variety of folks' contexts. So whatever works best for,
And speaking of the competition, so it's a friendly competition. It's really not hardcore. And one of the things, like I think you mentioned, and I just want to reiterate it, it's really more about just getting people to be more physically active. It's not, really that you're going to win the contest, because it's, like I said before, it's not a race. It's not a 5K. It's not that whoever gets the most mileage just wins the biggest prizes. Although, you get bragging rights and that kind of thing. But really, it's about what you can do for yourself and your own physical activity. Your own physical wellness. 7 out of 10 leading causes of death are directly related.
Are directly linked to lifestyle behaviors.
Yeah. So what we do and what we eat.
What we do, what we eat. And I think you hit a good point, especially about Walk Across Texas, that often people think, oh, is it just walking? And we do our one of our mottos, and what I say quite a bit is it's moving more and moving your way. So we do provide the option of a variety of different activities that, as long as you're moving more, sitting less, and picking activities that you like and enjoy, it's all about moving our bodies more, and that could be recorded.
And speaking of preventing chronic diseases, Ruby, do you mind sharing your story about one of the reasons why you got involved in Walk Across Texas?
Oh, sure. I shared this with Amy, I guess last year or the year before. And when I started, I was 20 pounds heavier, and I had gone to get a physical, and I was put on a statin. And I filled the prescription, but I decided not to take it. Instead, I decided I was going to do something healthy, and I started walking. So Walk Across Texas was about that time, and I joined a team. And I never had to fill that prescription, because the next year I had lost 20 pounds, and I've been able to keep it off for 10 years, which is great. And I had my cholesterol checked last year. It is perfect. So it was just, I needed that motivation, and Walk Across Texas was at the perfect time. It came in. And I tell Amy every year, because it comes in the spring, we've gone through the fall where we're getting a little lazier and we don't go outside as much. This is always a good motivator for me to just get started again.
I agree, and that's myself included. I try to practice what I preach, and I try to participate in Walk Across Texas. And just the last few months, it's been cold, and with the time, and it gets dark so easy by the time I get home from work, and then I'm not a morning person. So
Ditto.
Yeah,
I'm with you on that one.
Walk Across Texas is just that little kick in the pants to go ahead and do it. And then there's hundreds of other people in Montgomery County who are also participating in Walk Across Texas. So, why not do it too?
Reinforce the morning thing as well. That, it's activity at any time. So whatever fits within your context and what you enjoy, that's the best time to do it. And that's what we're excited about too. It's not strange to, like you mentioned, fun, run, walk at a certain time or location. It's whatever works.
And you can grab the people you work with and say, hey, let's go for a walk on our 15-minute break. And luckily, I work at the library, and we have a real nice area to walk around. So instead of going and sitting down for our 15-minute break, we go for a walk. And we did that last year, and we had a great time doing it, because you get to talk to your coworkers and your teammates, and it really does help with you get extra steps. You can put in a lot of steps in 15 minutes.
Okay, so there's lots more we want to talk about. Jody, I want to talk about you and your hardcore CrossFit family and your dancing and all that good stuff. And then also we want to talk about the prizes, because so just being healthier, that's a good incentive, and that really should be incentive enough. But prizes are awesome, so we've got some great prizes that we've recruited. But we're going to take a little bit of break. We'll come back. But you're listening to 104.5, 106.1 worldwide, irlonestar.com. And we'll be back with the Extension Hour right after this. Family and community health programs provide science-based education designed to improve the overall health and wellness of individuals, families, and communities. Developed by experts and delivered locally, topics include child and adult health, nutrition, child care, financial management, passenger and community safety, and building strong families, all encouraging lifelong health and well-being for every person, every family, and every community. We are Texas A&M Agrilife Extension, helping Texans make their lives better.
Lone Star Community Radio is ready for the summer. If you or anyone you know is looking for a summer internship, Lone Star Community Radio is a great place to learn the radio and TV business. Contact the station at info@irlonestar.com or call the station's message line at 936-647-3776. Lone Star Community Radio offers a great opportunity to those interested in learning about the radio world.
Want to check out the fastest growing sport in the world? It's right here in Conroe, Texas, and it's roller derby. Conroe Roller Derby is a nonprofit recreational league of women and men who want you to come and check out the fast-paced, hard-hitting game of roller derby. The Conroe Cutthroats practice at Rainbow Roller Rink on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays. You can find our game schedule and more information on our website, www.conroerollerderby.com.
Listen in Mondays at noon to hear Conroe news from local nonprofits, businesses, upcoming events, Conroe Park events, news stories, and information that matters to you with your host, Margie Taylor of Taylorized PR. For more information about being a guest, visit irlonestar.com/Conroe Culture.
Welcome back to the Extension Hour, Texas A&M Agrilife Extension Service, where we talk about our people, our programs, our partnerships. We've got wonderful people in the studio with us today. We're talking about Walk Across Texas. Before we get into that, let me tell you what 4-H is doing, because they do some awesome things for youth. They're staying really busy as well. Of course, the fair is coming up, which is a really good place to get lots of extra steps to go out to the county fair and walk around a bit. So lots of kids are getting ready for that. The Montgomery County Fair, they have Kids Day, and that's April 1st and 2nd. And Chef Plate will be out there. The Chef Plate is my alter ego, and yeah. So it's lots of fun. Cross between like Rainbow Bright and a rodeo clown or something like that, and chop up some vegetables. Tell kids, let's eat healthy, be physically active, all that good stuff.
Make sure to get some photo evidence of that.
Oh yeah, there is. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And then they also do a food challenge because so we talk about the fair. People think about animals in 4-H, and definitely that's a huge part of it. Kids learn excellent leadership skills, huge life lessons in responsibility, taking care of another life. But also, they learn other life skills about, kind of how to eat and feed themselves. And so the food challenge is one of the ways that they do that. And so our county food challenge contest is coming up on April 13th. And then we'll have our district contest, which actually are hosted here in Conroe at the Lone Star College over there in the Woodlands in the Montgomery campus. And that's people from all over our district come in for those 4-H contests. And we usually need, volunteers helping us with like judging and running things and that kind of thing. So if anyone's interested in that, again, you can call our extension office, 936-539-7825. We have a menu system so you can get to any of our departments. And then online at, shall we say it wrong, but you can, we've changed it a few times, Mike, and changes, I get a little confused, and then, but yeah, Montgomery County Extension Office. We also have a Facebook page. 4-H has a Facebook page. Family and Community Health. We have Healthy Living in Montgomery County Facebook page. So information is out there. We can get you what you need. All right. So talked about changes. Wait. We want to talk about changes because there's some changes. Yes. But I also said we were going to talk about. Yes. So Jody, you've got very physically active family. Like everybody CrossFits and you dance, and besides that, you're just like very energized.
They're the ones. I have to give kudos to them too. Yeah, we usually stack our team for walk across Texas, so it's kind of not fair.
So Mike, we actually had to disqualify them one year because they were like,
we were a silent participant. Yeah, they've always been. I have to really say it's more or less my husband's side, and he and my daughter and my son and my daughter-in-law are very active in CrossFit. They compete. They're all ranked. In fact, my daughter's competing tonight, and then she and my husband are competing as a team in April.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, they're just, they're crazy people. They're just crazy people. I stand on the side and take pictures, and every now and then I eat a candy bar just to spite out.
And
But
walk
you-
around the
you-
outside while they're doing that too, right?
Yes, yes.
But you have a dancing background, and
Yeah.
besides that, you I've seen like things on Facebook that you do like all kinds of like those bouncy things,
crazy,
and crazy
right?
exercise. Yeah,
I know. I'm not one to. Yeah,
I don't know if
the
we have a
Kanga
conversion
boots.
for that.
Yeah, the Kanga boots, they're awesome. Kanga
Boots,
boots, yes. The
Kanga.
bounce fit,
Okay.
and the bungee, and yeah, I like doing different things, and it's just fun. It's just fun. I can't stay and do the same thing over and over and over and over and over. I just get too bored, so I have to try something new.
So there's lots of things. So Walk Across Texas is hard. You can be hardcore. You can be just
Gardening.
like starting
Yes,
somewhere
yeah,
in
gardening.
between. Yeah. There's so it like you mentioned before. It really is just about people
It's all about moving more.
moving more.
Moving
So
more,
doing
sitting
a
less.
little bit
Yeah.
more than what you're doing now. So not necessarily, you don't have to be a marathon runner or a
Right.
hardcore CrossFitter
Right.
to participate in Walk Across Texas. It's really about where you're at now and where you can go, because the research shows just a little bit more can make a difference.
That's correct. Yep.
So-
And actually, yeah, just released that as well in the physical activity guidelines release that came out in mid-November. It was the first update to the physical activity guidelines recommendations since 2008. At that point, they did have a reference in there that said bouts of 10 minutes of moderate activity yielded health benefits. They actually removed that and are just encouraging move more. Even simple movement has some benefits that result from that action. So super helpful, and yeah, fit it within whatever time you can.
Cool. So, okay, talked about changes too. If you've participated in Walk Across Texas before, and Ruby, in the past 10 years, a few things have changed with the system. Like we went,
I feel like that's a weird thing. The
system. Yes. But the online system that helps run that. So, just kind of something to keep in mind. I think that it's awesome what Extension has done with the system to begin with, because people maybe don't realize what kind of limited resources we have. I mean, we're not necessarily we are not commercially funded. We don't. We're completely federal, state, and county funding. We don't have a lot of money for a lot of technology and advertising and those kinds of things. So a lot of things that we do is basically on a shoestring budget. But what we've been able to do with what the resources that we have is really very, very impressive. So maybe things change a little slower than we would like, but they do change. And we've Extension has been really good about being responsive. And utilizing the resources that they have to the best of our ability. And then the other thing that I think that's important about Extension in general is the science base to it, the research base.
Yeah.
So when we're talking about what we're doing in physical activity, it's based on research. It's not like, let's try, not that the new crazy things are not helpful or effective, but it's really grounded in science and what we know can work for people. So we're not telling people you have to become like this super physically active, hardcore, but you just move a little bit more, because the research shows that that's effective. And so that's one of the things that the system has worked on.
We need to come up with something.
I know, it's a
little
horrible
bit
way
better,
to.
So maybe we'll come up with it today. What we can call out.
But online, so it's
Yes,
a
it
virtual
is a
challenge,
virtual-
right? So they're just
yes.
kind of keeping their mileage online. The other thing that people
Yeah.
sometimes misunderstand is we talk about walking across Texas. We're not like literally walking across Texas. It's where
you
you're at.
could.
You could if you had have the time, and the
Yes.
and then the
That's
other
actually
thing.
my goal one
so-
day. But by the way, I think it'll be a good little marketing piece. But
Like,
yes,
I literally
yes, literally. But anyway, yes, it is virtual.
Then the other thing that confuses people sometimes too when we talk about teams. So you're going to be into a team of up to 8.
Yep.
So you can have less than 8, just not more than 8. But then so sometimes people think, well, we've got to get together and we've got to do like group exercise. Like we all have to walk together, and that is not true either. So the idea of teams is
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, the idea of teams, especially, so you will be on virtual teams, but it can be with whatever you're in, and you'll be logging in your miles and your individual miles, and they accumulate towards your team's goal. So certainly it doesn't have to be, it can be, which would be a great motivational factor, to have an accountability buddy to help you
Yeah,
out,
right.
meet you somewhere. I've heard stories where some would leave their tennis shoes with their partner, and to make sure that they actually meet up at the local park or whatever at 5:30.
Nice.
Maybe they wouldn't do it without it though. So maybe that's not the best strategy, but Yeah, really that team component and that flexibility as well, like you mentioned. One thing also on the virtual side of it is also that the end goal, 832 miles, is that virtual goal, and that's it is as the crow flies from Orange to El Paso. So if you type it into Google Maps or somewhere else, it may show up a little bit longer or a little bit shorter, but that's as the crow flies, and that's the program goal. But also, you got some other teams that are doing some other things and some other maybe incentives that go along with that push you a little bit farther as well, or we'll turn around and go back.
So I mentioned that there is that our programs are based in science, and there is actually a scientific reason why we have that 832 miles. It's nice that it's roughly the distance across Texas, but
it's very yes, it is very nice, and it's coincidental, maybe not the right way to say it, but
it's meant to be.
But yeah, so about that equals, if you have a team member up to 8, which is the reason why that team member number, one of the big reasons why that number is there, and that limitation, or I guess opportunity rather than limitation, but that it is about 104 miles through the duration of the 8-week program. I don't know if that was mentioned as well, but through the duration of per person, and it equals to about 13 miles per week, which is pretty close in line to the recommendation for 30 minutes, at least 30 minutes of moderate or vigorous activity, totaling 150 over 5 days. Again, doesn't have to be 30 minutes at a time. Doesn't have to be. It could be, you could add them up, it could accumulate to that. But that's the idea, is that it fits very well in line with the physical activity guidelines and recommendations for the amount of minutes or miles being active.
Okay. So like I mentioned, there's a few differences. We've kind of updated the online.
Yes. The platform? What other words can we get? The website, I think, is the easiest way to...
Sure.
Yeah, to make it more mobile friendly. So just so for those kicking off, so we made a large scale transition of our website September 1st, 2018. And so we kind of piloted a little bit in the fall. It was a live pilot statewide, but we piloted, see how it went, worked out some TA issues and things like that. And so we did some programmatic updates in that December, January time. And so we're super excited about it. There's a new registration process. It does go, so everything, we still have our walkacrosstexas.tmu.edu webpage that has program resources and program materials. But all registration as well as mileage entry goes through a new website called howdyhealth.org, which is all linked throughout the entire Walk Across Texas website as well. So hopefully there won't be any confusion on that. But so it's, as Amy mentioned, it's all mobile responsive. It's actually in a web responsive app format. So it's not a native app, like let's say you would download from the App Store or Android or however that works. But you can set it to your home screen and it functions as an app as long as you're connected to Wi-Fi or your service provider. Especially with the... Yeah, so hopefully when you're on the go and using your smartphone or tablets or any other capability to jump on real quick and enter in that mileage is... so we did transition to that. And so everyone... so we do have the opportunity to create accounts now. And so everyone will create an account with the website that they'll manage. And then they'll manage the individual daily... which is a little bit different than what we've done in the past. It's now daily mileage entry versus weekly, which is what we had in the past. But and so that individual daily mileage, that user participant will take that on.
So it used to be the responsibility of the team captain, right? The team captain had to enter the mileage for everybody on their team. But now each individual is going to take responsibility, so they need to put it on their own account. So that also means... So it could be a drawback, could be a benefit, that each individual is going to have a valid email address in order to be able to create that account so that they can put in their mileage. So, I depend on Jenny a lot for her to say, Amy, I need your miles so I can put them in, because she's always been our team captain. And so it's going to be me remembering to do that. I have a question for you, though. Yes. So you said daily. What if, I get busy and I don't do it that day? Can you do it?
Yeah, so you can retroactively or you could enter in for any previous date within within the program. And so it is based off of your start date. It'll allow you for 56, so 8 weeks times 7 days. It won't let you enter in miles before the date that we're currently at. The website will block that. But otherwise, anything retroactive. So even for me, sometimes I don't do it every single day. I'm actually currently participating in the program right now. And so it may take me 5 to 6 days. I'm the team captain. I'm pushing my team members to don't forget. I see you haven't updated miles in 7 days now. I'll give them a little gentle nudge and reminder. So that aspect of the program is still there as well, relying on our team captains really to be that motivational factor. You'll be able to, as a team captain, be able to see the mile accumulation of your team members, as well as the team members could see their other team members' miles, which we actually never had in the past before. Team member accounts weren't able to do that. So now within the new website, they will. So they'll also be able to gently nudge their fellow participants.
Boy, y'all have made some good changes. I mean, I remember that was one of the things one of the years that we were doing it with United Way. And it was kind of it was easy in the sense that the team captains knew what to do and they would enter it. But I think there was some kind of a glitch. It wasn't a glitch, but remember there was just some type of a delay that was taking place and
problems with the system.
Well,
yeah.
And we're
But
just
that's
happy
good.
that
Y'all made a
someone
lot of
could go
strides.
right there and enter it in versus sending an email or sending a text message or writing it on paper. And so time-wise,
that's
it should
good,
take,
right?
it should be just, hopefully, just as simple was
Very
my word of
easy.
2018.
Yeah. Because and that's what I think in our modern society we need. Simple, because I want to do it. I want to, but if it gets too complicated or too cumbersome, it's going to be more difficult for me. Okay, speaking of difficult, it's hard to stay on time and on track because there's so many good things to talk about. So we're going to take a little bit of break, but we'll come right back, and because it's still lots more good things to talk about because we haven't even mentioned prizes yet. We'll be right back.
You're going to need me.
You're going to need us.
All of us.
You're going to need our help with your water, your air, your food.
You're going to need our determination, our compassion.
You're going to need the next generation of leaders to face the challenges the future will bring.
And we promise we'll be there when you need us.
Today, 4-H is growing the next generation of leaders.
Don't forget to download the Lone Star Community Radio app from your Google Play or Apple Store. Bring Montgomery County's community radio with you anywhere with your smartphone or tablet. If you are in the Conroe area, tune in on FM. That's Conroe's FM 104.5, 106.1. If you are on the computer, bookmark irlonestar.com as your internet radio station. A Lone Star Community Radio. Broadcasting 24/7 from the heart of downtown Conroe, Texas.
Health Center Southeast Texas is a federally qualified health center. We accept Medicare, Medicaid, and most major private insurances. For our self-pay patients, we have a sliding scale discount program available. Our health centers have qualified providers and staff striving every day to provide the best quality of care to our patients. Services offered are family medicine, behavioral health services, telepsychiatry, and pediatrics. We have 4 area locations. Look up the Health Center Southeast Texas online at hcset.com.
Hey, Montgomery County and online listeners. Thank you so very much for checking out Jazzy Vibes with Soul. What? You haven't done so yet? Well, you've got to tune in. Hi, I am the host of Jazzy Vibes with Soul, Miss CeCe Holmes, and I invite you to check us out every Friday and Saturday from 7 until 9 p.m., where you will get the best in old school R&B and, of course, a little smooth jazz to make it jazzy. So tune in. That's right, tune in every Friday and Saturday right here on Conroe's 104.5 and 106.1 FM or worldwide at irlonestar.com.
Music's playing and it's time to come back. You're listening to the Extension Hour, Texas A&M Agrilife Extension, all about people, programs, and partnerships. And we've been just so excited talking about things. And we even during the break, we were continuing our conversation. So we're going to make sure that we mention that in the next couple things. But before I forget, the Extension Hour, all about all of the things that happen in Extension. So our agriculture department has the private pesticide applicator training that's coming up. So for people who need their CEUs, to be a pesticide applicator. That's coming up on Tuesday, April 2nd, 9 to 1. That will be at our extension office. We also have a pond management program on April 25th. That's at 6 p.m. So all about ponds. When our new ag agent, Brandon Gregson, came in the summer, he had so many pond questions waiting for him. So that's one of the, that's a big issue around here. So great information at that. And then Tuesday, May 21st, a freeze branding clinic for equine, so for horses. And then hurricane season's coming up, so people need to know what to do with their animals. So weathering the storm with your animals is an important topic, and there will be a workshop on that on May 30th. And most of all those things will be at the extension office, but you can call, talk to Brandon or April about those programs, 936-539-7825. All right, we've been talking about Walk Across Texas, and we've got lots of things that we want to mention. So new kind of a new platform, format, online system. But Ruby, you said that you went online and registered.
I did. I followed your email and followed the instructions, and it was really easy. That was the nice part, is that I got the code, and I was able to send the email out to the people I wanted on my team, and they all received it. So it was really helpful. But it was started with your email. That was really good, the step-by-step instructions.
Good. All right, so you mentioned code. So that you can create a league, and this is one of the questions that we've had come up before, too, about, so this is a Montgomery County Community Challenge, which, all right, so Walk Across Texas, actually, you can do any time of year. But in Montgomery County, kind of when we first started doing it with United Way, we decided we were always going to focus on April 1st. So having teams start on or about April 1st, which is another thing maybe we do a little different than other counties, Mike. We say honor about April 1st because we don't have like a cutoff date. If you don't sign up till April 15th, you are in the Montgomery County Challenge, and we're totally okay with that. Of course, you'll still do the 8 weeks, and you'll finish a little bit later than the others, but still you will be part of our community challenge. You will be eligible for prizes. You'll be getting the challenge emails that we have going out. So you can still participate. So on or about April 1st is when we do it. When you go in on the system, though, you're going to have to put in like a start date and an end date. So people were asking us, though, do they need a league code? So because this is the big leagues.
Yeah.
But we had this conversation earlier in the week. So so you may just have a little league. So we're not going to have a big one for all of Montgomery County because that's like just kind of too many teams. So whenever you register your team, if your team captain puts you in Montgomery County, then everybody on that team is in Montgomery County. You're in the Montgomery County Community Challenge. So there's not anything special that you have to do to become part of the Montgomery County Community Challenge. Correct. So you don't need that league code. You will need a team code, though.
That's correct.
So the team captain's going to put in who the emails of everybody on their team. They'll get a code that'll send to the team members, and then they'll be able to enter that code so that they are registered on that team, right?
Yeah, and I will say, if you want to be a team captain, you don't have to have all of those up to 7 team members yet. When you first create the team, it will ask you to enter in up to 7 emails. But certainly you could wait until you could send a few and then try to recruit a couple more people, a couple more walkers with you, or a couple more team members, and then you could retroactively send that team code after. So it won't stop you from getting set up with a Howdy Health account as well as creating that team.
And then the team captain doesn't necessarily have to be on the team. We want them to be, but some team captains are just like cheerleaders, encouragers, reminders that tell people, But so can a team captain create more than one team?
Team captain cannot create more than one team. They could only have one active team. They can
per email address, right?
Per email address, correct? Yes, per Howdy Health account.
Okay.
One active team at a time, which is just based on the start date, the program time. So that is a restriction in there. But You can oversee and create the team if you would like, but serve as a team member on another team. That might cause a little bit of confusion. So that may not be the best recommendation.
Keep it
But
clean.
now it's out in the radio wave, so I don't know. But
It's recorded. We said it out
yeah,
loud.
it's sad, but it is an option. The system won't, yeah.
The other thing that came up about teams is, Jody, you were mentioning when you guys participated, some of them were in other part of Texas.
Right.
So there is a way to manage that. You don't necessarily even have to be in Texas, right? So
That's
my
correct,
daughter
yeah.
in New York could be on my team.
Yes, exactly. Or my family. I'm
You're in
yeah,
New
born
York.
and raised Western
yeah.
New York, and yeah, my sister was on one of my original teams in the fall when we were piloting.
Nice.
So we got her on there, and but yes, you don't have to be. If you have family, friends, etc., coworkers, colleagues that are outside Montgomery County, that are outside the state of Texas, feel free to encourage them to join. You'll still just have to send them an email with, or message with the team code, but they'll be able to establish an account and join your team based off that code.
So once that team captain has established it's a Montgomery
Yeah,
County
so my
team,
big
we'll be good.
recommendation
Yeah.
would be, yes, as long for the Montgomery County Challenge, certainly for that team captain to be based in Montgomery County, and then any team member can join from outside that. But that way you're not locked in. That way you're tied to the challenge that's ongoing for
You're in
some
like
of the,
Flynn.
not to lead into the prizes conversation, but to lead into some of those other things that are happening locally.
Okay. Do you want to lead into the prizes conversation? Because
I mean,
we
I think that
have
makes perfect sense.
we have some prizes. Hey, so again, I just have to say how much I appreciate you guys. So I'm not really good about asking for prizes or asking for money, and that's I can do other things really good, but that's not my talent. But you two, you guys are awesome.
We try.
And I appreciate that so much. So let's talk about some of the prizes that we've recruited so far.
Well, I will say my whole mindset was obviously centered around the whole mission behind Walk Across Texas, and I just love it. You know, I love that you all do this, and I think the community really gets behind it too. You know, I was very surprised to think, wow, all right, we got some competitors out there. You know, we got to jump up our game. So anyway, when I went out to recruit prizes, I kind of wanted my focus to be local businesses in Montgomery County that are conducive to what the mission is. So whether that's any type of physical activity or just family fun, you know, something that the family can do together or a company can do together. So as such, we do have several in the area that did not hesitate for 1 second. They were very enthusiastic about what Walk Across Texas was, what it represents, and they wanted to get involved. So as I'm calling these out, this is a limited list because we're still waiting for a few confirmations to come in. But also what we tried to do was encourage them to get their own teams together. And I think you might have a few of these that are going to jump on board because they were very enthusiastic. But
because like we said, the best prize is the internal reward that you get from being more physically active. And I know that sounds kind of hokey, but I really do mean it.
No, I think you're...
Go ahead.
No, well, and I was going to say it's a journey. You know, it's an 8-week journey, and there's a lot that can happen within that 8 weeks. Right. And then at the end, what the outcome is. You know, hopefully you're going to find folks that will continue on. It's, you know, it becomes a habit. A healthy habit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay. So what do we got?
Okay. So we have so CrossFit Conroe is right off of Longmire. They have donated 1 month free, and CrossFit ain't cheap. So that's you know
awesome.
someone's gonna benefit from a membership there. We have Sky Zone Trampoline. We've got La Toretta is working on something. So La Toretta's got all kinds of things to read.
It's on the radio now.
It's on the radio. That's right. They've got lots of amenities out there. So they're putting together a wonderful package, I'm sure. Southern Empress Cruises, right there on, you know, remember we went out there that cold day. That was a lot of fun though. And they're just really, really nice folks.
And they do dinner cruises.
And the dinner cruises, yes. Yeah. And Melissa is putting the gift certificate together for us there. We've got Kids Crafty Corner. And I thought, okay, this was something that came to my attention because a relative had gone and was just raving about this Kids Crafty Corner here in Conroe. So I went online, I saw their website, and I thought, okay, that looks really fun. So again, you're not sitting at home with a remote eating a big bag of popcorn. You're getting out and you're doing something with family, with friends. So they've sent in a donation and Rainbow Roller Rink. Super excited. They put together a nice little package for some of our winners. And then we have a few more that are coming down the pipeline. Also, 300 Bowl. So 300 Bowl was really excited, and they were able to donate a nice little package as well. So I have about 6 others that are in the pipeline that I think are going to be lots of fun. Gold's Gym, of course, donated some gift cards there for use of the gym. And so anyway, there's kind of a mix, there's kind of a mix of physical activity, but also family enjoyment, just, things that folks can do together and have fun. So we were very, very honored to have them jump on board and say, yes, let me give you some prizes.
And Ruby, you've had some generous contributors as well.
Yes, and I tried to focus, like you said, on fun family things. So Incredible Pizza in Conroe has offered us some packages. And then the family thing to do together, I thought movie passes are always great. So Star Grill has given us some passes.
Nice.
And we have some more coming hopefully soon. And Orange Theory's putting together something. They did something last year. I don't know if you guys know what that is, but it is a place where you can get a really good workout. And one of the ladies that I work with, Susan Daniel, she loves Orange Theory. She can't wait to get there after work. I mean, she goes straight from work there because she gets such a good workout. And they're going to put something together for us.
Awesome. Yeah, so the prizes, I just want to mention, we talked about how competitive people get. So the prizes are going to be randomly drawn from weekly challenges. So we may say, like this week, anyone who walks 20 miles or puts in 20 miles will be put in for a drawing for a gift card. So it's not like you have to be like the top performer.
Right.
Everybody's going to have a chance to win. And then the other thing we try to do, depending on how many prizes we have and what's already been claimed, is we try to give people a choice of prizes so that they're not stuck with something like, what is this? I'm never going to use this.
Right.
So those things I think are important kind of changes, I guess, to mention that are going to happen, because we really, it's meant to be an incentive to get people to participate. And then I mentioned that we have a little bit of funding to work with as well. So one of the things we're going to do with that is anybody who consistently participates, we will do drawings for gift cards for those. So it won't be cash, but it will be a gift card, and it'll be a substantial amount. So it'll be worth participating. So continued participation. Like I said, you're going to get a reward, but if we can add in something a little extra as well, we'll definitely do that.
Are y'all still doing the award for the craziest, most unique team name? Silly things like that.
So yeah, sometimes that could be the challenge too from fun names. So the other thing that we do, we try to recognize the fun team names too, because there's so many of them, so it's hard to narrow them down. So one of the things that we do now is whenever, so everybody who's signed up, we send out a weekly walk email. So it's WALK. So W is the wow. That's like recognizing who did one last week or something really cool that's happened. The A is action. So that's going to be, this is how you're going to be put in for a drawing for the next week. So whatever that weekly challenge is. The L is for learning. Because like I said, it's an experience, and we're all about education. And, if we're doing something in extension, we got to learn you something.
That's right.
So there's
healthy body, healthy mind.
There you go.
Right.
There you go. So it's going to be usually a link to an article or a video or something like that that's kind of related to health and wellness. So kind of give you some more information. Again, reliable research-based information. And then the K is for keep up. And so that's usually where we do just kind of any kind of announcements that need to be made, shout outs to people who have donated, and then always list, these are fun team names that we found this week. Yeah. So
very good.
Ruby, your team name last year was...
We are Scrambled Legs and Aiken.
Scrambled Legs and Aiken.
Well, after 8 weeks, your legs really are aching.
Other fun team names like the Holy Guacamoles.
Holy Guacamole.
Sometimes we have more, so it's kind of fun. Sometimes the same teams come up with, different teams come up with the same names, and sometimes like they're not even the same part of the county. So it's just like, I guess great minds think alike or something. And
Astronomical Walkers.
Which was a play on the Astros.
Hysterical. Oh my God.
I heard the young and the breathless. Someone told me earlier today. if I'm laughing in my office, 9 times out of 10, it's because I'm looking at the team names across the state. It's just so, they're so clever.
Yeah.
So again, that's part of the fun of participating and being part of Walk Across Texas. So, Mike, what would you say is your favorite part of Walk Across Texas?
Oh man, how to put it just in one?
Well, you can say more than one. I know it's hard for you to narrow it down to just
the connection of it, the community aspect of it, working with family, friends, colleagues, and being under this one umbrella, this one challenge around activity and walking is a huge personal as well as professional passion of mine. And so it's building those relationships, and the social component would be my biggest thing.
Okay. Jody, what would you say is your favorite part?
I would say that it promotes and cultivates an environment that is more preventive rather than reactive to health. You know, we've been touched with my family alone in the past month with cardiovascular disease, and all totaled since January, we've probably had about 5 within family and friends that have been touched by cardiovascular, all of which could have been prevented. So it impacts everyone, financially, emotionally, spiritually, physically. It impacts everyone in that circle. So doing something like this, as simple as it is, walking, any type of activity, is very beneficial. So that's what I like, is just creating that culture of health, you know.
Yeah. So Ruby?
I just like the way I feel after the 8 weeks.
Yeah.
I feel so good. And one of the things they do is they also, sometimes you have the recipes, which I really like because I try some of those, and I try to broaden what I eat, and I try to eat healthier during those 8 weeks, and hopefully, you know, keep it going after that.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, we'd also mention the scientific, I didn't mention this before, so 8 weeks. So you're doing something for 8 weeks. That's kind of getting close to what it takes to develop a habit. And that's sort of another idea of Walk Across Texas is definitely do it for the 8 weeks, but hopefully you continue to do that past the 8 weeks. And even like I mentioned earlier, personally, I do really good for the 8 weeks, and I do really good probably for another 8 weeks after that. And then, things come up, and I kind of, fall off the wagon, and then Walk Across Texas comes back around, and then I get back on. But so the 8 weeks is good for developing healthy habits. And even if it's, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, moving forward, that makes the difference. And long term, kind of what you're talking about in terms of preventing chronic illnesses and that kind of thing. Just, sometimes we get that idea that we have to follow this certain set of rules, and definitely there are some things that need to be done to stay healthy, but it's not necessarily as strict maybe as we think that it has to be. I mean, I guess when you get to the point where it really is a disease there, and you're far into the chronic diseases, there are things you must follow your doctor's directions if you want to live. But when it comes to prevention, there's a lot of move more.
Very simple.
Healthy.
Very, very simple. Yeah, absolutely. And I think too, going back to what you were saying about feeling better, when at the end of the day, it's about the quality of life, your quality of life or lack thereof. And so, so many of us, I think, take that for granted until it starts to dwindle away, and you're so dependent on medications or other people to, help you throughout day-to-day activities. I don't want that. So if all I have to do is just break up an activity, throughout the day to get my 30 minutes in, that's easy. That's doable. Yeah.
And so maybe my favorite part of it is the learning aspect of it, and it kind of relates to 4-H. The 4-H logo or the 4-H motto is "Learn by Doing." So, and what you mentioned too, and the way I feel, like I don't want to, but once I get out and actually walk or exercise, then I feel better that I did that, and then doing that consistently helps me feel better. And I learned from that, and I remember, I felt better. And then also the little, like I said, the kind of the links that we provide and the recipes and that kind of thing, just to provide the opportunity for people to learn and to do better, and that's a big part of it. I'd also mention really quickly, we have our Better Living for Texans program, and they have a specialized project for people with limited resources. And so in addition to the Walk Across Texas, there's a talking aspect to it. So it's called Walk and Talk. So if anybody's interested in that, definitely they can call us. So just I need to wrap it up here into last few thoughts. So website, www.walkacrosstexas.tamu.edu, or howdyhealth.org.
Yep.
You can call the extension office, 936-539-7825. I almost went blank. But we'll be back next week. Scott Moore is going to join us, and we're going to talk about some of the, he's a classmate of mine, and then also he's on the Conroe School Board. And then, I don't even know what's the week after that. But you're listening to Lone Star Radio, 104.5, 106.1, the Extension Hour, People, Programs, Partnerships. And join us next week when we talk about more. See you then.
Thanks for checking out this show on Lone Star Community Radio, Montgomery County's community radio station. This show is owned and produced by Lone Star Community Radio and recorded live from the LSCR studios in downtown Conroe, Texas. For more information about the show, to be a guest, or to sponsor, just contact the studio at 936-647-3776 to leave a message, or email us at lscrstudios@gmail.com.
Well, those red buds are budding and old